Sexy as always.
Mm-mm.
Stop it, Big Mike.
Oh, here we go. See, this is why we should have been recording. Oh, I am recording. I've
Where
been
does the
recording.
big come from? I'm curious.
I
got
where-
big ears.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aaron.
That's what he tells. That's just what he tells people.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can check.
We'll leak those pictures. We'll leak those pictures in the full package podcast Discord.
Why do you think we're called Full Package?
Ew, Mike's full package.
Oh man, I can see where this is gonna go. This is gonna be fun.
This is gonna be rough.
Oh yeah, that's what's gonna be good.
That's
All
what
right.
they used to call him, rough Big Mike in prison.
All right, guys, welcome back to Full Package RC. First episode of 2025, and it's going to be pretty kick-ass. We got a really great guest with us. But before we go there, we also have our normal crew. We got Mike.
Hey guys, what's up?
And we got Aaron.
What's poppin', gang?
And joining us for the first show of 2025, helping us kick off the year, is Simone Zunterer.
Hallo zusammen.
Yes, what she said.
now you have to guess what that was.
You know, I had 4.5 years of German back in high school. I should know, but I think I can only count, to
You should know because it was just high altogether.
What was
Nothing
it?
special. It was pretty basic. Level A1.
Yeah, well, like I said, 4.5 years, and we tricked the teacher into playing Trivial Pursuit all the time, so I really didn't learn much.
I can count to 10
I had
in German.
one job. One job.
So starting off the new year, let's go back just a little bit here, and let's see how everybody's holidays were. So we already know we had our good Black Friday deals, and Mike buying stuff, and probably already selling stuff. But that all aside, how'd you do for Christmas, Mike? Was Santa Claus good to you?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay,
got rid of the Radio Master fiberless setup that I was running already. Decided that V control is just way too easy, so I bought myself some V bars and a new V control touch because the one that I had previously, I actually sold it to a club member that wanted to get into flying, and I wasn't using it at the time, so
accidentally
gave him a good deal, and now I so this is the fourth V control that I've bought in my lifetime.
Wow.
And I don't even know. I can't even count how many V-Bar Neos and stuff.
You need rehab, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. It's all good. It's all good. We're going forward from here. So,
so keep a lookout in 2 or 3 weeks, folks. You'll see some more V-Bars on Marketplace.
What?
I said keep a lookout in 2 or 3 weeks. You'll see some more V-Bars on Marketplace under Mike Sobey.
No, this is it for me. I got to find something else that's less expensive to keep flip-flopping on.
Yeah.
Nice. Started putting together the Steam 420 kit that I won in the Heli Direct raffle, and that's been interesting to say the least. It's definitely, we'll just say I didn't overpay for it. So we'll leave it at that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty rough. A lot of very confusing things in the manual. So they number the bags in the kit, but it means absolutely nothing. Like you're grabbing bags from bag 5 on page 1, and it's all over the place. The manual kind of jumps around, like it doesn't really have a flow to it.
Yeah.
Like a normal, most manuals go through kind of the same steps. You build the head, build the tail section, and start slapping the frames together. This thing just jumps all over the place. But at the end of it, you do have a helicopter, so...
I didn't have any of that when I built my Steam 700.
Yeah, the 700 was a lot better than this one. I don't know if it's just because it's a smaller model and it's harder to have, like, quality stuff. The screws were not good quality. I mean, I don't think it's going to explode or blow apart or anything like that. It was just seemed...
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Take video.
Oh, I plan on it. But yeah, I got the RS7 flying. Got some test flights on that, the one that I built.
Nice.
And I think that is it as far as new stuff goes. I don't think I had much anything else. I slowed down a little bit because I had to buy Christmas gifts for everybody else. So I dipped into my hobby budget for a little while.
Yeah, I could do it.
But what about you?
Me, I mean, I bought myself a really nice laser engraved tool set. That actually came from RJX Hobby, actually over in China. I ordered stuff from them before, and this set actually blew me away. And I ordered it, paid for it on a Tuesday evening. I wake up Wednesday morning to tell me it's being shipped, and it was at my door Friday morning.
Oh wow!
FedEx Air. I've never seen anything. I can order things from 100 or 200 miles away, and it takes longer to get here. I ordered this thing from China, and it gets here in 2 days. I was mind blown. The quality of the tools is really really nice, and to have my YouTube logo and everything etched into it and everything done, it's sweet. And then I bought myself another new camera for Christmas. So that was about it. That was, you know, I noticed how we're all buying our own stuff for Christmas. That's kind of interesting.
A camera for your OnlyFans or for the YouTube channel?
No, the OnlyFans I have, that's different. I need the wide angle for that one. But
Yeah, we use my camera for that. I record that for him.
well, no,
Oh god!
get your mind out of the gutters. I'm
Family
a big
business.
guy. I need a wide angle because of being a big dude. Come on now. What are you guys thinking? I sell feet pictures.
Those would be
Mount
some
the
crust.
camera under the ceiling.
Yeah.
You have with the wide angle, you have the complete floor and the complete bed, and you can do whatever you want. You never tangle with the cables, you know.
Oh, but that's his specialty in his OnlyFans. He plays with the cables, if you know what I mean.
Nice.
It's
No,
good
it's
advice.
just
Is this a new kink I don't know about, like cabling?
I don't know if
We
we
tie
want to
him
know
up.
anything.
We tie him up with the cables for his page.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Not we. Don't
Yo,
pull me
yeah.
into this.
Let's stay out of this. This is getting weird. Oh man. No, it's a vlogging camera. So I want to try to change up style of my videos a little bit, and I want to do more. And the GoPro just wasn't quite cutting it. Better quality. So I think it'll work out pretty good. But that was the extent of my Christmas stuff. What about you, Aaron? What'd you get good? Was Santa Claus good to you?
I was good to myself. Yeah. Basically did kind of my own shopping this year. I've been
See?
really, really, really in drift mode. So I've been doing a lot of sim drifting competitions. So recently I got a new computer so I could do that a little bit better. And I've been pretty much just all in on drifting. So then for myself, for the RC drift car, went and found a pretty rare D-Magic S13 body. Spent the most money I've ever spent on a clear shell just recently over Christmas. And then I ordered some like the small bits, you know, some of the pop-up set a buddy got me for Christmas. Pretty much everything was RC drift related for Christmas, either real drift or RC drift. So I've been, being winter, I can't go out and fly. I've been pretty much all in on any form of drifting at the moment. But we got. I'm sorry. What's that?
I do know somebody made a promise to have a 580 of some sort before Urcha next year. So
Oh, I will, and it's something that it's gonna wait to come warmer weather because I know my problem is I would get it built, I would have electronics in it, and then I would lose motivation being it's midwinter. I want it where I can build it, have everything all together and go fly it, go test it right then and there because it would eat me alive just having it sit in my closet or having it sit on my desk. So that is going to be my next purchase. I still stand on that. I do want a 580. In that 580 to like 630 size, like I said, if there's any companies that like are making that 6 to 630ish size, would love something like that. So I am still looking for those. Don't worry, Mike.
Yeah, you need that you need the 580 because you beat the living shit out of my 570. So.
And that's the problem is I'm tired of beating my 600 has been long retired, and anyone who's seen me at recent events knows my 600 Pro DFC should have been retired long ago, and I beat the living shit out of it every time. And I honestly feel bad. Last I flew it with Dana, Mike's significant other, and I wrecked it. And because it is such an old heli at this point, it hurts because that has so much sentimental value. So I do want to get something newer that when I crash it, I really don't give a shit about it. So we're working on it.
That works. How about you, Simone? How was your holidays?
Like present wise, it was pretty easy because since a few years, me, my husband, my friends, my family, we have like the saying that we don't do presents anymore because it's basically just you feeling forced to buy something and the
Hmm.
other one's feeling forced to buy something for you. In the end, it's just an exchange of money and you can hope that you get something with use for yourself. So we just basically say, no, we come together, we eat and have dinner and a good time, and that's it. Although I did buy, because my husband's family, they have two sons. And well, if the sons grow up, of course, they want to spend Christmas with their significant other. Maybe, for example, the brother of my husband, he already has a family. So they do like a pre Christmas party. They come together like 1 week before. They call it, yeah, in German it would be Zweihnachten, so like second mess, second Christmas, we call it. And it's basically the same as Christmas Eve. And this year, because every time since now 10 years that we are together, every time it's the same. They sit together after the dinner, and the guys, like my husband, Felix, his brother, and their dad, they're like, oh, let's play some board games, some of these strategy board games that I absolutely hate with a passion because I like games that maybe take you like half an hour or an hour, but these 4 hours sitting there for the whole night doing strategy, nah, not for me. So usually I bring something for myself so I can enjoy myself. Because once I didn't, and then the mother of my husband, she's like, oh, let's watch some romantic Christmas movies together. I'm like, oh, this is even worse. So I always bring something for myself, so I have an excuse. 2 years ago, I was bringing the 420, and I just took 2 bottles of champagne. I went to the kitchen table and I bought I built the 420, and so I was needing like 4 hours, and they were done in that time. Last year, I brought my Nintendo Switch and played Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. And this year, I bought myself a this Lego set, which you have maybe seen on my
I
Facebook.
saw
This
that.
Super
Yes.
Mario, Super Nintendo retro Lego set, which is like super techy, where you can like have a lever and then everything moves and Mario moves and his cape moves and you can stick the tongue out from Yoshi, and I don't know. It was
That sounds
crazy. And
awesome.
actually it was cool. It was really cool. But it was the same appearance as with your Steam helicopter. So you have a lot of bags and they have numbers on it. And you have a manual which is clearly like copy pasted from Lego because it was from China, and it didn't have anything to do with the bag numbering. You just rip all of the bags apart. You have 10 million pieces on your dining table. You hope that you don't sneeze so nothing falls off the table and disappears in the long floor carpet. And yeah, you just start building. It was fun. But in the weeks, let me think. I think in the week before that, I got the time to build my new SAB Genesis Mini, which I was looking forward to.
So
And
now you
I
said you
also
took.
already had the chance to fly it like 2 or 3 times, but as I said, the weather is like going downhill at the moment, so I've set it up, but that's it.
You said when you were
Fortunately.
building that 420, you had 2 bottles of champagne. So the question is,
Yes.
did you drink all that champagne while building the heli? And did the heli actually
Do you
fly?
think what I did, I cleaned the dishes with it? Of course I drank it.
So was the heli, by the time you were done with all the champagne and building the heli, did the heli actually fly okay?
Well, I didn't have the electronics with me. I was just building the
Oh,
heli
okay.
itself, the mechanics. But yes, I can assure you everything looked like it should look. If you have built helis like me since the last 15 years, you can do it nearly blindfolded. And the SAB helis are actually coming together pretty nice.
They are. They're great kits. I've built a good number of them, and their instructions are good. The kits are good. I do like building them for sure.
It's hard to do them wrong,
Yes.
really.
Yeah, the parts fit is probably one of the best out there. Everything fits exactly like it's supposed to. No shaving or trimming or force fitting
Yeah.
or anything like that. So yeah, Okay, I get that.
This is actually what I always look for when I can build a new heli. This is like for other people, oh, I'm going to the nail salon. This is just pure relaxation for me because I have all of the shiny parts. Everything is new, everything fits. Then you have these shiny, blingy, super nice heli there in the end. But what I really hate is repairing stuff. Maybe this is why I never crash, because I just hate repairing stuff.
Yeah.
Even worse, if you don't know why you crashed.
Oh,
You have
see, I
to
usually
find
know
it.
why I crash because I suck, but my brain and my fingers don't always work together like they're supposed to.
I also suck, but I suck a bit higher up in the air so I can still catch it and it doesn't crash, you know?
I crashed I have a Nitron 90. Crashed it recently, and I had to take the electronics out of it and take it to the driveway and pressure wash the frames because there was so much mud caked in everything.
Oh my
It was
God.
terrible.
That's ridiculous.
It was pretty bad.
Did you at least do a video of that?
No, I wish I would have. Yeah, it was pretty rough because I started with like a screwdriver trying to scrape it out of there, and it's just I got frustrated. I'm like, this is just making a mess all over my workbench. I'm just taking it outside. I'm just gonna hose it down.
Oh my
Nice.
god.
It worked. It's back together. It flies.
I have a real important question here. We know, like Simone, you're probably one of the most recognized women flying in helis, fly SAB, amazing pilot. But what I want to know is where did your love of chickens come from? So you got to explain that because I've seen you have a chicken inflatable suit to wear.
Yes.
Do you have like chicken cowboy boots? I think.
Yes, the chicken boots.
Yep.
Hashtag chicken boots. Sparkly chicken t-shirt that went well along with it.
What started that whole chicken thing? The love of chickens.
Okay. I mean, I've always been an animal person. I grew up with animals my whole life. So we had budgies when I was 10. And so I discovered that I'm a bird person. I love birds. And I was always very fascinated by budgies, by cockatoos, by macaws, and everything like that. But I mean, we all know for like normal flat, they are pretty loud. And during my university studies, I didn't have any possibility to have animals with me. I really suffered with that because I really like animals. They give me a lot of energy back. So whenever I'm stressed and I can stroke a cat or a dog or whatever, it just gives me a lot of relaxation and a good energy back.
Amen.
But I always, from small on, I always like everyone thinks that ducks are adorable. I was the same with chickens. I was like, oh, they're so funny, like penguins. So they are thick and fluffy, and they seem a bit dumb and running around, but they have actual the right size, so you could cuddle them. So I was always like, oh, I want to have chickens when I grow up, but never happened, of course. And then when I got to meet my husband 10 years ago, he told me that his parents, they live in the far off countryside, in countryside, like village with 3 houses. And they have a lot of animals. And they also have chickens, but of course, like the usual chickens, like you have 14 chickens, they are there, they're laying eggs, and at a certain point, they are landing in the soup pot. And so actually, I was like, oh yeah, maybe we can visit your parents at one point, and then maybe I can go into the chicken run and maybe like stroke some of them if they want to, blah blah. And in the end, we found a chicken breed that is very attached to humans, and we actually spoke to his parents and were like, oh, if we get some from a breeder, we get some eggs, would you mind to hatch some of these breed because we want to see if they are really attached like that? And she was like, yeah, we can do that. And in the end, of course, she was over exaggerating. She bought like 20 breeding eggs.
Holy
And
cow.
from these 20 breeding eggs, I think 18 hatched.
Oh
Oh,
my
wow.
god.
And she was like, yeah, so if you want to make sure that they are really super attached to humans, why don't you take some with you? And at that time, we were living in the city center of Cologne, and Cologne is the 4th biggest city in Germany. in the middle of the city, in the third floor, on I don't know 60 square meters. We were like, okay, we should take the 1-day-old chicken babies with us. Yeah, why not? Sounds like a good idea. So we have chicken babies. We took 8 of them with us in a big kind of paper box, the red light. And I mean, chicken babies are pretty easy because they feed themselves, they drink already by themselves, and you just have to make sure they are clean. It was so much fun seeing them growing up, but of course, like at a certain point, they grow up pretty fast and are too big for a flat, anyways. And so at a certain point, we had to bring them back into the countryside, and we already have seen that some of them are more attached than the others, and they were pretty attached actually. I don't know if it's because they grew up with us or if it's really the breed, but it's said that the breed is more like they are basically identifying as cats.
Oh wow.
So you
That's
could
like
say.
the perfect kind of bird.
Yeah, that sounds pretty
As
cool.
soon as we bought the house 5 years ago, when we first came here to inspect the house, first visit, I was like, what is this stone building in the middle of the garden? And the guy was like, oh, that's a chicken coop. Is that a problem? And I was like, no, I love it. I need this house. I want to have it. And so I
Well-
knew I could bring my chickens back. So we brought 4 of our old chickens back. And one of these is actually the one that you maybe saw on some photos that brought the rings to our wedding.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool. That was really neat.
Did they have cool names though? Did you name your chickens something funny?
I think it's more funny if you understand German, but I mean the one that brought the rings, my mother-in-law was giving her name, and it's not very super innovative. It's Chica, like chicken and Chica.
Okay.
Okay, okay. That's punny.
One is called Augustina because there is actually a beer brand which is called Augustiner with ER, and I did an A in the end for like a female name, so it's Augustina, like August and Augustina.
Nice.
And then there is one which is called Frikadella, but I think that is just funny if you understand German. But basically, it's derived from a German YouTuber that played Sims, and he did like a meme figure of a big fat, really ugly woman that always is messing around, and he called her Frikadella, and this is why she has this name.
I love where you get your names from. There's a story behind all of it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
actually,
at the beginning of that, when you were talking about the chicken boots and all that stuff, you said it was from Tractor Supply.
hmm
Do you guys have Tractor Supply over there, or is that when from your trips over to the States?
It was actually when I came last year to Spring Fling, and the RCHO crew was coming over, and Jay was there, and Jay was like, yeah, we need to do like, because as soon as I brought the chicken suit in, what was it, February, I brought the chicken suit. And so because here in Cologne we have Carnival, and it's all about dressing up, and I love dressing up. I have so many costumes here laying around, more costumes I can ever wear in my whole life. Every year I buy new ones. So for me, it was fun to bring like this inflatable chicken suit because I could easily put it into my hand luggage when I came over. And somehow it all started this kind of everyone has something to dress up or like a costume. I mean, they have these unicorn costumes and stuff, and I don't know. And so Jay was completely on it, and he was like, yeah, we have to do something for Spring Fling. What can we do? What can we do? We need to do like a co-op partner costume. And I said, I don't know, just you can propose something because I'm very limited in what I can bring with only a hand luggage. And he said, let's do cowboy. And I said, yeah, okay, but I cannot bring cowboy boots and a hat in my hand luggage because it over exceeds everything. He was like, no, we have Tractor Supply, we'll go shopping. And the problem was that actual cowboy boots were so expensive that I said, just for a joke for one day, that's a bit too expensive for me. So actually, I got these rubber boots with the chickens printed on it. This, I don't know, cheap $10 kind of cowboy hat, and this spray sparkly chicken t-shirt with these sparkling chickens on it, which says, even my chickens sparkle.
Oh wow.
So we created this kind of and I had the American flag as a bandana around my neck, and I was like, Jesus Christ, American guys, they will hate me with a passion because I'm making so much fun of the stereotype, and everyone loved this.
Oh, it was
Everyone
great.
yeah.
loved
It
this.
was really good. Yeah.
I don't know why, but somehow it was a meme.
No, that was a good time. All the dress up stuff everybody was doing there. I especially liked when you got the T-Rex out.
Oh yeah, the T-Rex.
You got the T-Rex
Did
out,
you
and
did you Bob, did you see that last year when I went to Spring Fling? I brought my Bavarian dress, my dirndl.
I I think I saw pictures. I don't think I saw you when you were in it, but I think you were showing me pictures maybe of it.
Yeah, they still have pictures. And what's the name of the old guy that is always doing the barbecue and the breakfast?
Oh, Sal.
Yeah, he was a big fan of it. So there is a
Yes.
photo where because he's smaller than me, so his eye
Sal was a
height was
very big
exactly on boob height. So he was happy.
Sal
He
was a
was
very
a
big
little
fan
guy.
of
That
yours.
picture.
Yes, I heard that when we were down there. Sal, oh, he was loving you down there. I heard that from several people. They said, oh, he was, every time you were around, he was like he was smiling ear to ear. He's a great
Yeah,
guy.
he was always trying to feed me. Did you eat something already? Come here, come here.
Yeah, he always does that to me too. I just thought it was because I was a fat guy. He was trying to feed me more food.
Maybe he wants to see your boobs as well.
Hey,
Ooh.
Oh,
if
oh.
he'll get me some
Okay.
free food,
Oh.
maybe. I
New,
mean,
new subscriber for your
We're back to
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
that's right. I'll let you touch my man boob for a burger.
Now that's a deal.
Deal.
Oh, that's horrible. But I'd probably do it because I'm a hoe. So why not?
So with all the dressing up and all the fun you've had here at American Fun Flies, which are your favorite or which are more unique anyway? Your German Fun Flies or some of the Fun Flies here in America?
German fun flies are not unique. I'm sorry. It's if you compare it to whatever I have seen worldwide. I mean, I have not been to any single fun fly that exists, of course. But I've been to Turkey, I've been to Greece, to Italy, to the States, and even Australia. And I really have to say, like, the German ones are the most boring ones.
Really? Is that
Officially?
because at least thinking of like the stereotype, and I mean this in the best way, is it safer over there? Like, is that maybe what takes away some of the fun? Is there maybe more rules there as far as like flight safety? Because I know over here in the
Yeah.
States, at most fun flies, it's like a free for all. I mean, that's the way it's
Yeah.
gotten in the past couple
I
years.
mean, RCHO tops everything that I have seen in case of not safe.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm
which
fine with
is
that.
cool as
I'm
shit.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, we have a lot of rules and regulatories, and we need to have fences everywhere. And I don't know, Rotor Life is, for example, because it's in the middle of a city, it's so if you can fly in front of your nose, you are fine. But for me, for example, because you have to go very wide out away from the main building where people are standing and watching you.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of meters in between the people watching you and where you fly, and then again, line where your heli is allowed to cross over or not to cross over. And
Okay.
you really, if people should see something, you need to fly in front with the blade tips in front of your nose, and I can't do that. So I always fly in my safety range, and then I'm like, what is even the meaning of flying me there? But that's just Rotor Life. Basically, I think, what should I say? I mean, I think one of the facts is that you guys, as far as I have seen, when you go to a fun fly, usually nobody goes to a hotel because everyone has a big caravan and a camper and just stays on site. And I think that is already like the good basic that you really stay long and you chat and you cook together. And actually, we have a lot of people that's staying in campers. But I have never. I don't even own a tent. I don't have a camper because I drive a car that in American sizes would be like, I don't know, a push carriage. It is not even capable of throwing or pulling anything. So don't know. So for me, it's basically like you go there at maybe 10 a.m. and you leave at 6, and that's it. I know there are some fun flies that try to do like, oh, we have a DJ and oh, we're doing some night flight, but night flight is usually like 3 people flying. And DJ for me is always like, yeah, but it's not fun if I cannot drink because I need to drive, and I don't know. It's
Yeah. And I think some of that's changed recently, kind of the point you just touched on, where night flying recently at a couple events I've been at, is like 3, 4 people, and then it's like, okay, night flying's over. It never used to be that way, at least here in the States. I can think back to the 2016, 2017 era where I remember night flights were like the highlight at a lot of these events where it was a full-blown party. I mean, if you go back and watch old videos from like Helly's Over Delaware 2016, I mean even Urcha like 2016, it was a full-blown party. You have people screaming like you're at a concert. And there was a lot of people yelling, and now in recent years I've noticed night flying has changed where 3, 4 people go out and fly. It's definitely a lot more tame, and the flying style has changed, it seems like. And like the party aspect of the fun flies almost seem like they've kind of died out.
That's where we need to drag you,
Yep.
Aaron, down to RCHO.
Yeah, I mean, partying is 3/4 of the fun
I-
of these fun flies. Drinking and
I
and
kinda
being
wanna-
safe, being responsible and safe people.
Yes.
But going wild and having fun is I think night flying to me is more fun than flying during the day. There's just that different element of when you have drunk people screaming and get lower. Everyone's telling you to get that shit on the ground.
But that doesn't happen on German fun flies. That's, for example, one fact. There's
Man, that's a
nobody
shame.
standing behind you screaming like hell and oh, do this, smack it, blah, blah. That's not really happening.
That's a shame. I love that. That's 3/4 of the fun
Yeah,
is
I love
hyping
it. I
everyone
love it
up.
too. And the worst part is if you live here in this country where everything is boring, and then you go to other countries and you see like, oh wow, it can be like that. This is so much fun. But I have to fly around half the globe to have this.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you're like, and 11 of 12 months, you are like in the boring country again. So yeah, congratulations.
Hey, you have Oktoberfest. It's not boring all year round.
Oktoberfest, hello. That's I don't know.
October.
That's different. Even didn't make it last year. I come from Munich, but and now I live so far away that I don't know. Only 1 or 2 of my friends are going there, and they was like, "Yeah, we are very spontaneous whenever it fits." And I'm like, "I have to drive or fly 600 kilometers. I cannot be spontaneous, please." Okay, then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Last time I've been there 2 years ago, it ended pretty bad. Let's say it like that.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I'm used to a lot of stuff, but it ended pretty bad.
Now I'm curious.
Yeah, I know I am too. What's pretty bad? You got to give us a little something on that one.
Pretty bad means on Oktoberfest you buy a table. So you reserve a table, but you already buy for the time, like let's say they say on a table there fit 10 people, and we expect that you buy the equivalent of like 10 meals and 10 liters of beer. So you have to spend it, and then you get some vouchers, and you can then get free beer and stuff, but you already pay a good amount of money, and so of course you want to spend it. So we went there into one of the tents with a friend of mine and some friends of hers that I didn't know. And yeah, we had fun. It wasn't one of the party tents, it was more one of the quieter ones. Had good food, and I mean, it's very good and tasty, but also greasy food, so you're pretty full. Then you drink like beer has a higher percentage than normal German beer on Oktoberfest, so it hasn't 6%, it's about 10%. So you're getting drunk easy if you're not used to it. I'm happy that I'm used to beer because I love drinking beer and I drink a lot of beer, so I can drink like 2 liters and I'm still happy. But then number 3 is already, depending on the time, is getting a bit tricky. And then we decided we want to change the tent. And my friend did the calculation. She was like, oh, we we have still so much money left. We cannot leave it like unused. We need to, what can we do? So nobody wanted something to eat. So like, nah, we cannot eat something. Or what can we do? What is expensive on the card there so we can spend it? So they wanted to have some Aperol Spritz. Does that ring a bell? Aperol Spritz?
No, but it sounds good.
It's Aperol. It's kind of a sour alcoholic drink.
Ooh.
It's not a cocktail. It's not a. It goes more into long drink, but it's like sour, and it's really not my taste. I never drink that, and but as soon as you have 2 liters of strong beer inside of you, your decisions are getting pretty bad. You decide. Never. I never drink this, but I'm a heavy drinker. I can do everything, so give me this shit.
Yeah.
And you begin drinking this and everyone else, and then we decided to go into the last tent that was open, and this tent is specialized on wine. So I drank, I don't know how much wine on top of beer and the long drinks. And then afterwards, they went to a after Oktoberfest party in the city where they again only served beer. So I had beer on top of the wine, on top of Aperol, on top of beer. And then there is a big blackout. And I just remember that we met 2 guys, and it was actually like only my friend with one guy and me with the other one, and I was like, oh, okay, now you have to see that he's not grabbing your ass the whole time long, and have your marriage ring on your finger, so he should be able to see that, but whatever. He's also drunk. And then in the end, I needed to go back to my hometown, which is not in Munich, but outside of Munich. And it was pretty late. The trains didn't drive anymore. And he offered that I could stay in his with him. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. He's like, no, it's my sister's flat. And I'm sleeping in one guest room, and you can have the sofa in the other room. So no, nothing intended, blah, blah, blah. My friend was like, yeah, he's nice, and you should not sleep with him in one bed, so you have your own room, so maybe it's better, so he can bring you back home tomorrow. And I was like, okay. I already nearly fully vomited into the taxi. I don't know where the paperback came from that somebody handed me, but I'm happy that it was there. And then I don't know what I looked like. I must have looked like shit, like, I don't know, completely wasted, makeup all over the place. I went there. I didn't have anything with me. No toothbrush, no clothes to change, nothing, because I didn't calculate that I will stay overnight somewhere. The sister was beating up this poor guy because she thought he would bring back a woman to have sex with, and it came out that he also is married, but he never told me. And then she saw the ring on my finger, and she was like, oh, so you're not here to hang out with him. So, and then she was my best friend. She's like, oh, I have a new toothbrush. You can have this. And look here. Blah, blah, blah. Then I slept like 2 hours on my sofa. That felt like 1 minute. And somebody knocked on my door. Yeah, it's time to leave. I have to go to work. And with my, I don't know, my hairstyle that converted into a bird's nest at that point, and the makeup dripping everywhere, I sat with him in the car. And I still remember that I thought like, oh my God, I look so bad. I mean, I looked in the mirror for a short time, and then I looked away and I was like, oh my God, this is just embarrassing. This guy, and he said he will drive me back to my hometown because it's on his way back to work. I'm like, oh yeah, thank you, that's nice. So we talked a bit. And he said in this really cute Bavarian dialect, he was like, but you're a grenade, right? I looked at him with this side eye, like, yes, look at me. I look like a, I don't know. Yeah, in the end, he brought me back home. Nobody believed me when I said I slept at the sister's place of a guy that is also married, and there was nothing happening, and I still had a big blackout, and I look like shit, but it was fun until a certain point, yes.
That's a testament to there are still honest people out there.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It sounds like the beginning to potentially a horror movie.
That was pretty good. Sorry we had to drag that out of you. But this is the good stuff.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that's fun to hear.
I mean, I have a lot of funny stories, but actually, I learned from this. It's the same with Carnival and the festivities that we have here in my small town where I live right now. We have something called Schützenfest, which is about shooting, actually, like sport shooting,
Nice.
and they have a complete big festivity around it and a ceremony, and the whole town comes together and a party and so on. You have never seen people drinking beer that fast. I have seen everything, but that really blew me away. And, yeah, party in a small town is really different to everything I have seen.
Yeah.
A lot of beer.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a lot of beer.
Okay,
I
I'm
know.
with you.
Yeah.
I love, even though it's American Oktoberfest, I still love our Oktoberfest over here. I've gone several years, and oh, I love getting me some good bratwursts and day drinking all day.
What kind of beer do they serve there?
Normally, so it's like the Yingling, but the dark kind of Yingling. I forget what they call it. But it's a really dark kind of like hoppy beer. And then they serve, I don't remember the other brand, but it's like a 10 or 12% type of beer. Kind of like that stuff you were saying about earlier. It's a really, really strong beer. And ironically, they only serve two beers. That's it. It's only two types.
Yeah, I think probably our most popular Oktoberfest beer over here would be Sam Adams. I would think.
No, they didn't have Sam Adams. It was some
No?
like
Wow.
weird. No, it was two things on tap: Yingling and this other. It was such a small brand. I don't even recognize it. Like it's not a popular brand in stores.
States are very strict in what I can import and what not, because when I was invited to Istanbul at one point, to a small club, and they said, "Yeah, we will help you with the flight, and you can fly our helis," because I was even not allowed to bring any helis to Turkey. So I
Wow.
was like in the States, I come over and I have nothing to fly, and I just make anything fly that they hand me over. And I was like, "Hey guys, but that's so nice. So what should I bring for you? Do you want anything from Germany?" We're like, "Oh yeah, bring us some German beer." I was like, "Oh Jesus!" Like Turkey, depending on who you have at the customs, they can be pretty rude. But I did my whole luggage full with German beers, and they had a big party trying everything, and they really enjoyed it.
So I didn't realize that you don't bring any of your own helis with you when you come over to the States.
I did 6 years ago when I went to Seattle. I had my 580, and at 2 years ago on Spring Fling, I had my 580. That were the only times. Then I went to RCHO where they supported me with the flight, and they said, "Yeah, but it's only hand luggage. We have plenty of helis. You can fly ours." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, why not? Make stuff easier." I only had hand luggage, and I was flying key stuff. The same in February for the second RCHO, and the same for Spring Fling this year, or like last year.
Okay.
Now, do you plan on bringing stuff for Urcho this year?
Yeah, I would so. Actually, I love flying my 700 the most. The problem is there is no suitcase where you can get the tail boom in. I'm thinking about maybe asking somebody to buy a tail boom from, I don't know, Bird, and let it ship to somebody, and they just bring the boom with them, so I can get the 700 in a smaller bag.
Are you coming to the U.S. for anything other than Urcha this year, or is that the only one you're going to be coming over for?
That's the only one planned right now, because the problem is it's not very cheap to fly over the pond.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, depends. I think the cheapest one that you can actually do is if you fly from Frankfurt to New York. If you're lucky, I think I saw flights with hand luggage for maybe 300 euros.
Wow,
Okay.
Which is
it's still not cheap.
Yeah. I don't do a lot of
Yeah.
flying because I hate to fly, so I have no idea what flights cost and all that sort of stuff. I don't pay attention to that.
I mean, I looked for I looked for RCHO before I knew that it would collide with Road Alive, but I think it was with a transit in Charlotte, and then it was about like $600. I was like, for a fun flight, that's pretty much.
It's a lot
Yeah.
for just something
So
just to come fly some helis for sure.
I mean,
So
if you tell it to somebody and you're like, and they're like, oh, you're going to the States, so what you're doing? Yeah, I will stand on a field that doesn't look any different to Germany, and I will fly a heli that I can also fly in Germany. Why exactly do you go there and spend so much money?
To do it with a bunch of dumb Americans.
Yep. So you can wear your chicken
Uh,
boots.
That's right.
Yes. He still has my chicken boots.
He's probably wearing
But
them.
I'm really looking forward to Urcha. So it's nothing is booked yet, but I talked with some of the guys from the organization and they said, yeah, they will make it possible. So my idea is that I will buy a ticket maybe also for my husband because he has never really been outside of Europe since we
Oh,
are
that'll be
married
cool.
and he had to get a new passport. It was the first time he ever had a passport.
Nice.
And yeah, I told him like it's nice in the States. People are nice. It's funny. The heli guys are pretty crazy. You will have fun. And he was like, yeah, maybe I should come with you. And maybe we are doing like 1 week of Urcha and then maybe 1 week in I don't know, maybe flying to Salt Lake City to go to Yellowstone or something like that.
Nice. What does Ben think of all this? Like with you flying helis, basically traveling around the world.
And if you fly over the pond, you better make it possible that you see some stuff. Because I remember when I first went to Seattle, I had one day with Robert where he showed me around in Seattle, and I flew home. I think I landed in Thursday, and I flew back home on Sunday, and I was like, "Are you crazy? You have the opportunity to go over to the States. There is so much stuff to see, and you only stay for the fun fly." And so yeah, usually I try to get some sightseeing in.
That's good. It's good to see everything else in the area, especially you get to see. I guess you're hitting a couple different areas of the U.S., so you should be able to see different things each time you're here.
Now,
I mean,
is your husband into the hobby at all?
nothing.
Oh, really? Has he tried at least?
Yeah, he tried. I mean, there is a video on my channel where I review a small Chinese heli that has this automatic takeoff and landing stuff, and it's pretty balanced and with I don't know how many gyroscopes. So he enjoys the hobby. Let's say he supports me. He think it's cool. He doesn't interfere with me when I say I'm a weekend off here and there or overseas for flying stuff. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. Do that. Blah, blah, blah. Because, I mean, I was being honest. When we dated, I had some heli pictures in my Tinder profile. I had it written down in the text because everyone should know what they are up to, right? So it takes a lot of time in my personal private life. And a potential partner should be aware of that. So he thinks it's cool. He supports me with that, but he's more a video gamer, and he's like, it's fun while I'm doing it, but I will never have this feeling like, oh, I want to go out and try to fly. And he sees how long it takes until you really have a state where you can do cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, nah, it's. I also think he would say like, I also think that somebody who can play piano is cool, but I would never want to learn it actually because it takes too much.
That's pretty typical of most spouses. You were just used to hearing it the other
No,
way, where the
I'm in
wives
the
are
same
like,
boat.
"That's pretty cool to hear it from the other way."
I also had a boyfriend that flew helis, and it also didn't work, so it doesn't matter.
Was he just pissed off because you were better than him?
No, I wasn't.
Nah, you could have lied and said you were, and then
Oh, I
send him the
don't
link.
lie.
Send him the
I'm
link to the
doing my
podcast
pussy
and say,
flying since so many years, and it doesn't change. I barely learn anything new. It's just for fun.
"How old were you when you started flying helis?"
I think 25.
Okay, and what made you look at it and go, "That looks cool. I want to do that"?
So basically, my dad always bought RC stuff back then. I think he wanted to have a baby boy instead of a baby girl. And so he always bought stuff like these ships that you can build up yourself from styrofoam and RC stuff. And then, oh yeah, I'm buying this for Simone so she can play with it. Blah, blah, blah. And then it sank in the middle of the lake and so on. And he went with me to model train exhibitions. So I also started that. I still have my model trains. I enjoyed very much to build the scenery and all that stuff, but it was in that time. I mean, I was 13 years old. It was way too expensive for my pocket money. And I always wanted to have something flying, but nobody in my family is into flying. I didn't know anybody who was flying. I think when I was 16, I bought from eBay a secondhand Piper Cup on RC1. And the guy said, yeah, it's everything is set up and servers are in it, and you just have to load the battery and it goes. But nobody explained me what a center of gravity is. I mean, if the user manual says check the CG, why should I know what that means and how and what and why? And so, of course, I just charged the battery and I put it into this box where it belongs. And of course, it was nose heavy, and that, well, sealed the deal 2 times. And then it was in the garbage bin. I
Yep.
thought like, yeah, and I remember after the first crash, I asked in my local hobby shop in our small town back then, which now doesn't exist anymore. And I asked them for help and said, oh, I bought this and maybe I did something wrong. Maybe you can help me. And they were like, oh, this is not a hobby for girls. Just sell it and
Wow.
Oh, wow.
go clothes shopping. That's what girls do. They don't fly model airplanes.
That's
Oh,
Wow.
crazy.
yeah. That was the point where I decided, okay, nobody is here to help me. Nobody can explain it to me. I don't know who to ask. So I should just put it into the garbage bin, and was like, okay, you should stick with stuff that stays on the ground and you cannot crash, and that's it. Many years later, in my mid 20s, when I did a practical semester for my product design studies, I was in a product agency office in Munich. And the boss came over and said, oh yeah, my brother, he has this tiny little foam helicopter that he was flying indoors. It was so funny because it couldn't do much. It could just spin around itself and go up and down, but could even fly it into a wall and it didn't crash. And I was like, oh, it doesn't get broken and it flies, so maybe that's something for me. So I bought my first Pico Z. That was actually my first heli.
Okay.
And the Pico set was at a certain point a bit boring. And then I bought in the same store a coaxial one from eSky. I flew that indoors, then I flew it outdoors because the living room was too tiny at a certain point. And then, of course, there was wind and it landed in the flower bed and the flybar broke off. Again, I was at the point where I didn't know who to ask and to do it. But then I was lucky, I found a forum, and these guys were for RC Heli guys, and they met once a month for pizza eating, like 45 minutes away from my town. And they invited me to come over and they would show me how to repair it. And they already had this Raptor 30 and a Mini Titan. I was like, wow, such big helis. Oh my God. They were like, yeah, you will want to get one very soon. I was like, nah, I don't have the money. Yeah. About 4 weeks later, I bought my second-hand Valkera. And I remember that I bought my Graupner radio with, what was the 35 megahertz, Tower Pro servos, the cheapest one that I could find. Everything was secondhand. I didn't have any clue how to build it, so I downloaded all the manuals I could find from Valkera and Robbe and T-Rex and everything I could find, and I looked if some of these have something in common, so I could relay like, okay, so they all do it like that, so maybe you have to install it like that. And I was super afraid of flying it because I had nobody to ask, and I knew I don't have the money to repair it, and maybe I also will not be able to repair it. But so I did my first frog jumps with the Valkera, and then I worked my way up to a 450. Then many years later, when I came in contact with Thunder Tiger, I actually had my first big heli, which was the 550. But that was already like 4 years into flying because I didn't have a sim at that time. I didn't have a laptop or any PC. So everything was pretty slow back then.
What's your thoughts on the new Mini Genesis? I'm curious.
I mean, I haven't been flying it much because the weather is really going downhill here. The first flight was in for my feeling, in a hurricane, so it was pretty stormy. But it is actually flying good. It's flying very adult for its size, I would say. It's pretty visible with the color scheme and the full body and painted body. I really enjoy that very much because that's the only thing I really missed in the Raw series, because I loved the original Goblin design with the painted boom and the big canopy, and that it's all like one design. There's the designer in me coming out again. So I really enjoy that. Building was super easy. I had it together in hours, 4 hours as usual. And yeah, actually, it looks very promising. I didn't have the possibility to fly it very much, but I'm looking forward if the weather is going better.
Now, are you gonna do like F3C style stuff with that, or are you gonna try to 3D?
No. My usual bullshit that I always fly.
'Cause I was curious on how a small like F3C machine would perform versus a larger one.
I think I would say it's the same with like every heli. Is like the bigger the heli is and the more weight it has, the easier you can fly big maneuvers, because it just actually takes more time until it stops in midair and comes back down.
Right.
But small heli falls quicker. You have to react quicker, and it doesn't look that smooth and that big and precise.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I think Shaggy tried to do. I think he had a heli failure a couple years ago at IRCHA. It was many years ago now, and he tried to fly a little 420 to try to do it, and he struggled for stability and to make it all look nice and fluid.
Yeah.
I think they do them, but it's really got to be difficult to do.
Yeah, give it to Nick Maxwell. He will do all of it.
He can do anything
fly a
with
washing
anything.
machine.
He's an animal.
Yeah, Nick is a beast.
I remember we had the E700 and we were having some issues, and he was out at IRCHA, and I just went up to him. I'm like, "Hey, got an issue going on here. I know it was basically his baby at the time." I said, "Can you help me out?" And he's like, "Yep." Boom, boom, boom. 2 seconds flat, he had the problem fixed, and we were up and going. I'm like, "Oh, dude knows his shit. That's for sure."
Well,
Yeah, I had a similar experience when I had my Futaba 16 IZ. I couldn't figure out where something was and tracked him down at IRCHA. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's right here."
Yeah, always willing to help anybody. Yeah, great dude. As
Yeah.
most people are in the heli.
Nick is very funny if he's drunk.
I've
Yes.
heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard some people have some pretty good stories about Nick partaking in some beverages.
Yeah, but that's long ago. I don't think he's really drinking anymore.
Yeah, he's a big car guy too, I think, Aaron.
Yeah.
I think
really?
he's got I know he does RC drifting. I don't know. I can't remember if his real car is a
He
drifting
had it-
car or if it's just a street car.
I think he had an Evo. Didn't he take Zane out in that Evo that one year? In
Oh
IRCHA?
yeah, that's right. He had like a stupidly high horsepower. I thought
I
at
was
one
gonna say
point,
because
like
the one year at
Evo.
IRCHA, he took Zane out, and he came back and they said they were out, doing the speed limit on the roads, and it was a lot of fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't speeding or anything. They just got to the speed limit quick. That was how they did it. Yeah, it's always good stuff.
I think
Like-
at that time I wasn't even super excited on it because I wasn't super into cars. I think I was only like 16 at that point, so I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. But looking back now, I remember it. The thing was fucking sweet.
Yeah, you were just busy crashing shit and making me fix it and pay for it.
Yeah, well, I do the same thing now, but with my car, except you don't pay for it.
That's right.
I just crash real cars, and
I
then
don't
I
say you
just pay
crash
for
them.
it.
You just end up in a ditch once in a while when you go wide.
Yeah, you even see my last pair of wheels. I didn't tell
Oh
you
well, yeah, I heard
yet.
about that one. Good stuff.
No, the one at the bank just the other night. Had been
Oh.
a rim.
Yeah, didn't hear about that one. No.
Yeah, that's a new one. I
Okay.
got some damage on the SC.
Oh no, not good. Well,
I
hey,
was not street drifting. I was 100% at the track.
yes, that's how
Yeah,
as we
don't
do
worry
it.
about
We don't.
Yep.
We don't do it illegally.
Never,
No.
100%.
I
I
thought
mean-
it was Mexico you guys always go to. Isn't
Yeah.
that the thing?
Nah.
Everybody goes to Mexico
Yep.
to do that
Take a
stuff.
5-minute trip and you're in Mexico, and then it's legal.
It
Yeah.
was Guatemala. It's okay. My license is valid over there.
Yeah, right. Okay. You say so.
They probably don't even have licenses in Guatemala. Probably just if you could figure out how to drive it, you're free to go.
So, what car do you drive, Simone? You said you have this little car. What is it?
It's an Opel Corsa.
Okay. Yeah, I think
Opel is a German car brand which I've never seen in the States, so I don't think that you guys know that.
I've heard of it,
And
though, but
Corsa is what size is that?
I think
Yeah,
there's a
that's really
couple U.S. manufacturers that make cars very similar to
Yes.
Opel, but they badge them as their own.
that happens a lot in the States. It's basically the
Yeah.
same car, just with a different name, but it'll be very similar to what it is. But how
Yeah,
do you
because
feel?
there was I think it was a Saturn something that one of my friends had that was identical to an Opel
Oh,
branded car.
that I didn't
I can't
know.
remember what it was called though.
Get a lot of car for your money. Like Volkswagen VW is very well known, but it's like I would say it's like with Apple, so you pay for the brand name, and I don't really see the point in that. And for Opel, for the same money, you get more features and more car for the same price. And I have mine. It's small, so if a 700 fits in, but I have to either put it diagonally into the back with the back seats flipped over, or I have to stick it in between the driver and the co-driver seat, or I have to put the co-driver seat all the way to the front. If I have my scale machine in there, then it's getting really tricky, but it's all doable.
Oh wow.
That's not bad. At least you can fit it. I cannot fit a 6 or 700 in either of my cars. So
Okay.
at least you can fit a 700 in the little Opel.
I was gonna say, and your cars aren't
That's-
small either. It's just they're awkwardly done, I guess.
Yeah.
Should have had Simone pick up that
Oh
plane
yeah,
for
right. She would have strapped it to the roof, and the car would have took off.
me. She had to drive the plane
Yeah.
back and put her car in it.
No, I can drive as fast as I want on the German highways. Maybe if I put the the plane on top, maybe I can fly with my small car. If I'm fast
So
enough.
is that a real thing? There's no speed limits on the highways over there?
On about 52% of our highways, there is no speed.
Wow. Does it seem like most people respect that and do a certain speed, or is it just chaos?
If you think that a gallon of fuel costs you about $13, you're pretty aware of how fast you drive and how much your car consumes. That's the first thing. Second thing is that the highways or the freeways are usually pretty full. And even if there is no speed limit and the freeway is packed, you cannot drive fast. And the third part is we have nearly construction sites everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, there are certain freeways, and yeah, you could basically drive 500 kilometers per hour and try to catch the Boeing that is flying on top of you, of course. But I barely see people driving faster than 100, maybe.
Oh wow.
I mean, I do sometimes when I have the company car and we go to a fair or something and we are 3 people and we're like, oh, come on, it's fun. It's not our fuel. We don't have to pay for it. It's not our car. And the highway is free. Then, of course, then we drive 200, 220. But you cannot do that for a really long time because you really have to concentrate. The highway needs to be free. You always have to consider that other people are stupid as fuck. And they just come out onto your lane and you will have to brake and you maybe not make it. So it's just fun if the highway is free.
It's good to know that they do that over there then too. It's not just the American people that are dumb shits and pull out in front of you and cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
It's a worldwide thing.
I mean, I have to say, whenever I am with somebody on the American highways, I'm getting so stressed out because you guys, you drive on any lane where you want. There is no system. There is no
No, there's a system, just nobody uses it.
Yeah, nobody
Yes,
abides by
well,
it. Yeah.
it's just my German rule set brain doesn't work that way. It makes me crazy. You're driving in the middle lane, and then the one there is the same. They are overtaking on the left. They're overtaking on the right. They're overtaking everywhere, and this is how here. No, if you do that here, if the police catches you, they will fine your ass off. If people see that, they will honk you down. It's just, it will not work. And it just makes me crazy if I'm over there. This is the only thing that scares me. If somebody would say, oh, just rent a car and drive in the States, I would be like, oh, I will not survive.
So I was driving for work down the highway, and there was a car riding in the left lane doing 10 miles below the speed limit. And there was a highway patrol officer riding right behind him, turned his lights on. The guy went over to the center lane, then the right lane, and then got on the shoulder. And the cop turned his lights off and proceeded on driving. He just made him pull all the way off the side of the road and then left him there.
Oh, really?
Just to make him get out of the way, because he was just riding in the left lane like he's not supposed to be. I thought it was pretty funny.
That is pretty good. Need to do more of that to people.
I know. I wish they would. Drives me crazy.
Yep, me too. Can't stand it.
And 90% of the time, they're staring at their phone, not even watching where they're going, watching YouTube videos or who knows.
Have you seen
It's
these
wild.
pictures with people in their Cybertrucks wearing the Vision Pro goggles?
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Driving
That's
on a
scary.
highway with Vision Pro goggles, not seeing anything, and the Tesla is driving by himself, and I'm like, oh wow, this will not end well.
That's too much trust.
Yeah, I don't have that much faith in a car to be driving me, to let it do the driving. No, thank you.
Looking so much forward to it. I'm seeing myself as an old grandma who is getting shit-faced at a local pub and is just calling her car and like, oh, it's time to go home.
Nice. I guess that would be a good plus to it. Yeah, I can see that one.
Yes. This is how the world, when I'm old and ugly, how the world should be. Future world for me. Get grandma
Nice.
out of the pub.
So one question I have, that I didn't ask yet was you used to do a lot of, I believe you used to do a lot of design work, like for people, like to design your own canopies and stuff.
Mhm.
Do you still do that?
I have one client who is a heli manufacturer, actually, like a heli brand that is also well known in the States, and I do the canopies for him, like commercially. But the times where people did ask me for like, oh, I have my own private heli, can you do me a design, that actually got less and less and less until it completely stopped. So I would still be open for that. I think I did one canopy design for Frank Madielos
Yep.
last
More
year for
Doritos.
his Excel Power. But that's it, actually. So I never said I'm not doing it anymore, but people just stopped asking. I think it's because like this airbrush design era just went away. Nowadays, the helis are pretty plain and pretty like more modern with stripes and stuff rather than the airbrush stuff. And I mean, if you look at the raw, for example, there is not much space to design.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room to work with
And
there.
but what I'm doing in my self-employment from the heli side of view is like this canopy for this manufacturer, and but that's maybe like whenever he brings out a new model and he needs a design, so that's not every year. And the other part is a guy from Germany who is very well known for flying scale machines with his father, Heiko Fischer. He's also all the time on Road Alive, and he has now, since 2 or 3 years, he has his own shop. So he's having a flight school. He's building helis. He's building scalers. He's doing repairing setups and flight classes. And he needed like a logo and everything that comes with it, like voucher designs, a pavilion, a tent, a booth, cups, mouse pads, whatever, all the design
wow.
stuff that you need. So that's what I'm doing. And the rest of my clients is apart from the heli world, but I try to keep it very small because I have a full-time job, which is already quite time consuming. I have here the house, the construction side, I have my heli flying. I try to at least upload once a month something on my YouTube channel because that's a lot of work. And then if you then are self-employed on the side, it's getting too much with the time. So I try to keep it simple.
Yeah, so you mentioned the house and the construction site. We see a lot of pictures of some renovations to what it looks like going on there. So what are you guys moving? Are you redoing the place that you bought, or what's the story with that?
We are basically reconstructing this house. So we decided, so we are together since 10 years. We lived in Cologne. I enjoyed Cologne, but we decided we want to look for like our own house. And in 2019, 2020, the house prices went over the top like crazy. So you could not really afford anything that is not a complete like mess. And we didn't have a lot of standards. Like we didn't want something super big. I mean, for American sizes, my house would be super small. But we said, yeah, we want to have our chickens, so we wanted to have a garden, and I wanted to live somewhere where at least I have access to a train line or I don't know, a bus, so I'm not completely away from any living being and my friends. And so we found this one here, which is in a town like 40 minutes from Cologne. We have a train line, we have several buses, we have kindergartens, we have schools, so that's good, although it's pretty small. And we really fell in love with this house because it's 140 years old, and you have to think that we didn't even know how old it is because there are also no papers for this house. The only thing that I have is that our neighbors are the ones that sold the house to us, and his grandfather was building the house. So it's very, very long ago. And he could also only just like, oh, I was a small baby when it was built, so I don't know. And when I ripped the walls down, in the gaps in between the stones, they sometimes pushed some newspapers in. And as the walls were pretty dry, newspapers, you could still like pull them out and unfold them with care, and you could still read in these old German letters these old newspapers. And I found one
Oh,
which
wow.
had the headline, and it said 1895.
Oh, wow.
That is before the Titanic, before
That's
World
awesome.
Wow.
War One. That you have to think about that. That always blows my mind if I think like this thing is standing here for such a long time. That's so crazy. But it had some owners in between, some people that didn't know how to do construction and stuff. So some of the wooden beams for the floorings, they were just like molding away. We found out that our house was actually not built on a foundation, but just on pure earth. So we had to dig 1 meter of earth in our own living room out to fill it with concrete, all of that kind of stuff. We found out that the walls inside the house, the outside walls are pretty good and stable and thick. Once inside, you could play Jenga with it. You could just take the stones out of the wall.
Oh
So
wow.
Oh, wow.
no way that you hang any shelves on that because you will not survive. But yeah, so we knew that when we bought it, it was on German prices. It was cheap, and it had some charm, some retro charm. But we knew it would be work, and we calculated about 3 years of doing it our own, like new pipings, new electricity, one part of the new roof, and new facade, and I think the new beams. That was it. We calculated 3 years, and of course, you can calculate as much as you want. As soon as you open it up, as soon as you paid it, you just see what you bought. And then we saw, oh, we don't have a foundation. Oh, we have to remove this. Oh, this is also not given. Oh, this doesn't also work. And so we are now in year number 5. And we are, I think, since, I would say this year, oh, now said last year, 2024, we were at the point where we wanted to be when we started. We have a 4-year delay. We are doing everything ourselves. There has been no company doing anything. This also goes down to the ego of my husband. Male ego, I'm sorry. No, we can do it ourselves. It's way cheaper. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I learned how to construct walls. I learned how a roof is built. I learned how a foundation is built. Yeah, it's interesting, but sometimes it really ticks and scratches on your nerves because I don't have a closet. I live from the biggest part of my clothes is in a garage, which is not dry and cold, and I have only place for like 5 jeans and 10 sweaters, and then whenever the weather changes about 10 degrees, I need to interchange my stuff. All my helis are in the garage. Whenever I want to build a heli, I don't have any space because we have 25 square meters where we eat, where we sleep, where we watch television, where we work, where we cook, because we just have one big L that is ready. And this year has actually been the first year where we finished the first actual room, which was my office, which is super small, but it is my personal space where I can work because I do 4 days per week. I do home office, and this is now my woman cave for now. A work woman cave where I can earn money.
Nice.
But I will actually have, so we have the ground floor, the first floor, and the second floor. And the plan was that I will have my personal heli space in the second floor, and he will have his virtual reality gaming desk, and he also does oil painting sometimes, so he has a lot of space there. And last year he came over and said, "Oh, I thought about it. I don't want you to be in the second floor." And I was like, "That's nice, but where do I go with my helis? I don't know, but I don't want you up there." Like, wait, half a year married, and this is a statement. Okay. Well, then we talked about it, and actually we have in the inner patio, which has a roof over it. We have, as the whole house is so old, we have some stables, like 2 horse stables and 1 pig stable, which are used now for storing garden stuff. And the horse stable, actually, we have all of our tools and machinery for the construction site. But as soon as we are more or less ready, he will insulate it for me, and then the big horse stable will be my heli space, which is actually better than the second floor because if I have a scale machine and I want to load it into the car, I don't have to bring it down 2 floors. Then
Yeah,
I will
that'd be
have my
that'd be
own
nice.
man cave. Oh, my dream. It will be so nice. Bob, I saw your video and I was just like, oh,
Oh yeah,
one day,
it is.
one day.
It is
Oh my
my
God.
my happy place. I can say for sure.
Oh.
I get to hang out here, do all my work. You know, it keeps me separate from my wife. That way, I don't get on her nerves, and she's happy. I have my own place to go.
That is a fun area. Having the drift track there, I mean, it's big enough. We used to fly micros in there all the time, do some 3D. I mean, you do have an awesome area. I'm
Yeah, I got a
jealous.
good space here. I definitely enjoy that. Well, do you have any other questions, Aaron, for Simone? Anything else you want to know about? We're definitely ran longer than we normally do on a show, but we had some really
Yeah,
good
no,
stories here.
I learned an absolute ton about her. This has been a very, very interesting episode.
I think great starting off the year with
Good
some
to
heli
hear that.
content everybody was looking for with probably one of the best people to do it with, and I'm really glad. Mike, what you got?
So, are you guys all going to Urcha this year?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
It's
Yes.
planned. I didn't book anything yet, but it's planned.
Are you aware that it's a week? It starts Monday this
Mhm.
year. Okay, because they changed that from
I'm-
previous.
Oh, did they actually? Is that a
aware of
legit
that.
thing they changed? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it officially starts on. I can't remember if it's Sunday or Monday, but
Oh,
it goes
shit.
for the whole span of the week this year.
Because I always thought they did the F3C stuff or whatever,
Mhm.
early in the week, and then it technically only started like Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, originally I planned to go for the whole week, and I was going to help them set up tents and kind of prep stuff as a volunteer for the first few days until the event started. But I guess I'm not going to be able to do that because they're going to be doing that the week before I get there. So
So I guess we'll just have to hang out and drink.
yeah,
would
I
say
mean
that
we can.
makes for a long time. As much as we were drinking and kind of going hard, those 3 nights we went,
Yeah,
4
we
nights,
did a
whatever it
little
was.
excessive, maybe.
Going a little excessive with the drinking and then sleeping maybe 2-3 hours, waking up, flying all day. That after like 4 days of that, I was brutally beat.
Yeah.
I was sunburnt like crazy. Anyone who saw me out there, it was 80 degrees and I was wearing a fucking hoodie. I was so cold and hurting from my sunburn. That was
Oh my God.
this Urcha 2024 was a blast, but I was dead. I was certainly dead after that
Yeah,
event.
that first day I was pretty bad too because of working a whole day, coming home, driving through the night to get there, staying up the entire next day. I think I was up for 45 hours straight, and the last few hours of that was pretty hard on the rum and coke and cruising around in a golf cart and yeah, sleep
Yeah.
deprivation on top of drinking a bunch of alcohol. That made for an interesting time. Fun as hell, but it was a good time.
I would really love to bring my if it works out to bring my husband over. So I'm curious if he survives 1 week on a flying field for a hobby that he doesn't really enjoy. So I really hope that meeting all of the crazy guys that they will take care of him. I mean, he speaks English, so
Yeah. Oh, we'll take care of him.
Oh yeah.
We'll be there I'll be there this year. I'm going a little longer, so I'm going to be my plans are to be there Monday to Sunday. So
you can do a guest part in OnlyFans with him.
Oh, that would be pretty funny.
I'll
We'll have to do a spoof on that.
throw I'll throw my VR headset in the camper. That way, if he gets totally bored, we can stick him somewhere and let him play VR for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, play some video games,
Usually
do
he
whatever.
just has his mobile phone and watches YouTube and stuff, but we don't have any plans here in Germany where US mobile data is covered without paying a fortune. So he has to survive without his mobile phone. And I hope that he's getting a bit social and he always said he would love to go to a shooting range because he was so jealous when I got to shoot some pistols and shotgun at the Spring Fling last year. He was very jealous.
Yeah. That's a good time. That's another hobby that can suck up a whole lot of money too.
Yep.
I bet.
That's for sure. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Simone, telling us all the stories, taking your time. I know it's late there. You're starting to approach midnight, I guess, there.
Yeah, it's fine, but tomorrow is the first day of work after a long time off, so it's fine. It's still like 6 hours of sleep.
Well,
Not
I
that old.
really appreciate you working us in, your schedule, and especially before going back to work. So happy you were able to make
You're
some time, because I
welcome.
know it
I
was a little
love
tough to do, but
love being on podcasts. It's so much fun.
yes, absolutely. It's a good time. And we appreciate you coming on our very unorganized and unplanned kind of show and making things up as we go along. And it just kind of works and it's
Good.
fun.
Good. These
And
are the best stories.
we're
when we
looking
just make
forward to
things up.
seeing you at IRCHA, having fun, and just drinking and flying and just having a good time. It's going to be a blast.
Ooh.
It's a shame you won't be over here until
Did
then.
I bring a costume?
Absolutely.
Yes. I'll dress up with you.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
Get
bring
a
one.
few get a few rum and cokes in me, and I'll get in that T-Rex costume, or I'll buy one of those big gorilla costumes, or something
I
goofy.
have seen a 3-headed dragon costume with wings. It was $300.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go, Aaron.
We got
There's so much stuff I would love to try. But maybe in case I just don't come up with anything funny, I can just bring my Bavarian dress and everyone will be happy because they see boobs.
I think
Well-
we should give that to Aaron. Let him wear that for IRCHA.
Yes. Let Aaron
See
wear
how-
the Bavarian
See how
dress.
long, we'll see how long till
Do you
the
have
heli
enough
guys.
cleavage?
No.
Well, I want to see if they'll burn them at center stage.
We could get the plus size, and I could wear the Bavarian dress. I have the cleavage for it.
Oh, right, you're right. You told us.
Pull the skirt down, let the ass crack hang out a little bit, See if anybody starts throwing
Ladies
dollars
up.
at me just to get rid
Give
of
them
me.
some sun.
That'd be fun. No, I say bring the costumes. It would be a good time. We'll see how many people we can get
Well-
running around at one time wearing costumes. Alrighty. Well, and on that note, I guess we are going to call this show to an end, since it's been a little bit longer than normal, but it's been a ton of fun. So I'm going to, in the link in the description, if you're interested in any full package merch, I'll put a link in there. If you need to get a hold of us for anything, you can reach us at fullpackagerc@gmail.com. And I can get that message across to anybody, or with any questions, comments, concerns, whatever you have for us. Simone, do you want to put any of your social information out there, your YouTube, or
Maybe Facebook and YouTube is most important.
and what do you is it just YouTube / I forget what yours is. Is it just your
Just
name?
search for my name,
Okay.
basically.
So there you go. I'll try to put a link in description for Simone's YouTube as well. And I just got to see, in particular on the YouTube, you got to find a video. If you ever want to see the funniest heli video you've ever seen, I want to say you did it probably back in, like, was it maybe April or something? Where you did that one video with the flying.
Yeah, it's called the most epic video ever.
Okay, I was going to say, because you got to look that video up. It is hilarious. And it is probably one of the best heli videos I've ever seen, and you will get a good laugh out of it. I loved it.
It was pretty good.
Yes, absolutely. And on that note, all the links I'll put in the description, and we should be good to go. Thank you guys for joining us in this episode, kicking off 2025. We will see you again shortly, and we are going to keep this ball rolling, and just make 2025 bigger and better than 2024. Thank you guys for joining us. And Aaron, Mike, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Simone, again for coming on, and keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank you
guys.
for having me.
It was a pleasure. We would love to have you back again sometime, and I'm sure we'll have some more stories by then. Maybe after Urcha,
yeah.
we'll have some really good stories to talk about.
Oh yes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Y'all have a great night. Thank you.
See ya.